Welcome to TradeTheNBI.com. This is John. This reports for the 13th of January. No surprise as to what happened here. We had the magenta NBI over yellow, the rejection of white coming down, also short-term buyers at steel rising here on the DOC, and then orange plummeting, just shy of being below the red, but actually already below the green. All bullish configurations, and from an NQ standpoint, likewise, similar reads. Is it by any means secure? Well, you hit the 50%, wasn't able to get over it, so they're going to have to clear those. And key for us to be watching the pivots, and we'll see those on intraday charts first, where you get a lower magenta pivot starting would definitely be a weakness. Well, as Powell speaks and basically says that the Fed really isn't going to do anything, that caused a nice spike in the euro. And also some of the talk about realizing that boosters and vaccines just aren't cutting it and aren't going to be the path forward, which was interesting because it's quite a paradigm change for what we've been hearing here in Europe, where the WHO and the EU not recommending additional boosters, that too many of them not healthy. But we'll see how that plays out as far as continued strength for the euro, because if nobody believes that the U.S. is going to combat any of the inflationary pressures, that's going to cause the dollar to continue to fade. And from a gold standpoint, that's only going to encourage gold and should push back up relatively easy to new highs. But it should also be an invitation to cryptocurrencies moving forward. And this is just going to add to that nightmare, that inflation number, and is only going to get worse given this. We may see a pause in it for a little bit given this brief dip, but it's going to be cycling back up going into spring. And of course, on the interest rate front, obviously that generated a little bit of a spike coming back. Not a whole lot. Nobody really believes the Fed's in control of the situation. So after our fill of that dip to the 39, which was the positive extreme, caught onto the buy setup and performing quite nicely within that pretty decent pullback from the dip, and same thing with Ethereum. Nice buy configuration set up, and boom, take off. These were all clean actions. Nothing too unique with those. Nice run up on that 50K. Finally putting in a little bit of weakness, midpoint breakthrough there, and still within fairly okay condition here. You've got this is that pivot I talk about that happens under the 25 level, and it usually creates a little bit of weakness. And if it continues, that's where you'll see dips to the 50%, but only if you get the white NBI leading, and that is not happening at this particular stage. So for me, intraday 5K chart here, we were kind of bouncing back and forth on the previous 47.02, and then started putting in new positive extreme to 47.10, and then we bounced up, and we kept creating a bunch of singles. And so when there's single positive extremes, they tend to fill. They usually fill pretty quickly. We usually like to see the series of 3 or more. That really gives you a strong indication of algo that really has run over the previous players and is just on its way to make that monster move, and that's usually how that works out. To produce the sell, typical, this one moved up a little bit further than normal. Usually we look at right around in the mid-24 range or so. Usually you get a little bit of weakness, and it usually fades back. Then we started popping up towards the 40 level, but that then produced a brief sell configuration here below the 33, below the 25, weight ticking up, and DOC spread with cyan above, green crossing below all at the same time, and then that led to move all the way to the 0, and then a break at the lows all the way back down to the same 47.02 range, where it then turned around and caught that similar buys. Some of these worked out well. Some of the adjustments I'm making to the pink bars within those configurations to capture that green just a fraction earlier, and likewise match the dots to the most convincing cell configurations just a fraction earlier, like the orange dot setups here. So always something to do. Keep on plugging away towards more perfect. As always, though, I will update you on Skype chat with anything relevant. As always, trade well. Talk to them later.